All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another wonderful, fantastical, probably shit show episode of the PorchFitcks podcast.
PorchFitcks podcast.
Anyways, welcome everybody to another episode of PorchFitcks podcast. Where you got, your beautiful host Nick over there, your ogre of a host myself, and our special guest, who anybody that has previously been in the chat or hung out in the chats for the live streams or the web shows or anything will know the ever so wonderful Nilly.
Nilly, ladies
welcome,
and
buddy. How you
gentlemen.
doing?
I'm doing great. It's Friday. The week's over until the next week. How are you?
That's very fair, actually. Yeah, that works.
We all want Friday and Saturday, and we dread Sunday to Monday. That's about
Yep.
right.
Yeah, basically. So aside from that, I'm doing all right. There, Nick, how was your week, sir?
It's been good. It's been good. Been really funny hearing the what we're getting blamed for when it comes to the Facebook getting shut down. But it makes me laugh, and I get to fucking just smile and smirk at people being stupid. So I'm having an all right week. My house is on the market. We're about to be. We're packing. I'm
Where
good.
are you going?
We're moving to like the Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas area, like that little section.
Where it's all pig farms and corn?
Cow farms and corn.
Oh, I was wrong.
Oh, I was wrong.
I thought it was pig farms out there. Like when you said Iowa, I was thinking pig farms.
We're moving close. We're trying to be closer to like the Omaha side.
Okay, that sounds like beef.
All right. Well, being that you are the first guest to kind of come on to not cancel in a while, I figure we'll probably try to keep this as kind of like freeform as possible, like we normally try to do when we actually talk to people that try to come on. So basically, just so you know, we'll just ask a kind of question here and there. You do your little introduction, and you can just kind of go off on your tangent from there. You feel free to literally just talk. I mean, and if you decide that at some point that there's more stuff you want to talk about, we got a couple options there. We can either stop one recording and start up another one for kind of like a deep dive thing, or if you kind of need a break and you want to come back at another time for us to record one kind of off stream type of thing and do that for an upload, you have options there as well. It's going to be completely up to you. We're not going to force you to do anything here other than, talk and tell us your life story and sell your soul to us so we can use you for all of eternity. But anyways,
Just
Nilly,
his soul?
that's all I need.
I mean, he's got a pretty mouth.
I thought you were going to go for the ass. That's fine. Either way. All
right, fair.
Nilly, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, why you wanted to come onto the show, this type of thing, telling your story a little bit, and wherever that leads, let it take you, sir. So the floor is yours.
We're here for the
Alrighty.
ride.
So basically, I hate programs so much, I'm a professional programmer. But besides that, I've been an advocate for about 20 years now. I first got into this in 2003 or 2004. I still can't quite figure it out. When I first read about Tranquility Bay on the Guardian web, there was there's a website called Fark.com. It used to be a lot cooler than it is now. And they
You're
just
not
had,
wrong. You're not wrong.
Yep. And they just had new shit. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? So I started reading, and I just lost my shit, and I kept reading, and I lost my shit, and I kept reading, and I just couldn't believe it was real. So I started looking things up. And again, this was 2003, 2004. So I'd find just GeoCities websites put up by people who had been in, it was Tranquility Bay, it was Spring Creek, it was Cross Creek. Those were the ones I found that had MySpaces. I mean, sorry, not MySpaces, the GeoCities.
Yeah.
I remember GeoCities, dude.
Yeah.
That's a throwback, man.
Yeah, I've been at this for a long time.
I feel so fucking
Damn.
old sometimes, bro.
This motherfucker said MySpace and GeoCities in the same sentence. I'm done.
Well, we're all about the same age, right? I mean, I think I'm a little older.
Fire, man. Fire. Now I'm thinking about my MySpace page I used to have. I hate it.
Shut up and let him talk.
Sorry.
Move on with your dicking.
Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of how I got started. I just went, what the fuck is going on? I started seeing what people had said, and I finally found a forum that a lot of people here might have heard of called Fornits. And I was there from 2003, 2004 until I think about 2009. I'll get to how that shook out. And it was basically, hey, what the fuck's going on? And reading and seeing people talk about the Seed and Straight Incorporated. And the Seed went back to the 70s. And there was actually a Senate report about them I can go on about later that the Senate itself compared it to North Korean brainwashing. This isn't me. This isn't an unprofessional person's opinion. This was the Senate report made a direct comparison.
Explain what you mean by seed for people that may not be familiar with that term, please.
So there was a culty rehab, here we go again, out of, I think, Fort Lauderdale or St. Petersburg. I've got like a million windows of notes up, and that's not the one I have up. And it was based off of Synanon. Anybody who saw the program saw that they were going on about Synanon. I think they mentioned the Seed. They definitely mentioned Straight Incorporated, and they had some old video of it where, like, that poor girl with the dunce hat who was just completely soaking her cheeks.
Where they started to kind of introduce the whole attack therapy thing from Synanon and going forward with it, and the whole yelling at each other and that whole situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all that shit could be a whole series of episodes, so I'm trying to keep it a little, not too surface, but not too deep level. So anyway, I got on Fornits, and I started talking to people and reading about how far back this went and what's going on now. And I started talking to people in private messages like, hey, what's going on? Like, just I'm trying to understand this shit. And they just spilled their guts because programs teach you to do that. And it was around the time, like, I'm not going to name her name, but somebody told me what Sidu had put her through. And I think I was just incoherently sobbing at a wall until 6 a.m. And that's when I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do something about this shit. And the thing that really is weird, and I'm intentionally throwing this out of order, is I had been through some very similar shit through the school system that I had completely repressed and forgotten until some people at Fornits I was friends with, were kind of talking about my past and were like, that's not normal. That's not okay. That's not what you're supposed to be dealing with. But it was just weird as shit because it was a day program, and instead of taking like carpool or even a short bus, a taxi picked me and a few other kids up, and that's how we got there. Everybody was taken with taxis, I guess, because they figured if there was a fight, it would just be in that little vehicle instead of a short bus. I'm not making this up. It was just weird top to bottom.
Yeah, because that's not a red flag. We're going to hire a taxi cab company to fucking get your kids.
And I was in a fight in a taxi even. So this was done through the county, but anyway, should I just roll back and pick it up from there? Or
whatever, go for it, man.
Whatever you want to do, bro.
The floor is yours, bud. However you want to do it. As I said, we'll interject with questions here and there. Nichols talk shit. It's fine.
You've been a part of this for so long, bro. You got so much to talk about, bro. The forum is yours, brother. So wherever you want to go, we're here for it.
So TLDR for how I ended up in this place. I was 5th grade. I was like 10 or 11. Parents are going through a divorce, which is pretty fucking typical, and I was the kind of kid where I didn't like start problems with people, but if you're acting out because your parents are divorcing, then bullies find you. And I did the dumb thing, which is I kept my hands at my sides, and even if I got beat up, I just went to the teacher and said, hey, XYZ did ABC. Never did anything. And one day on the playground, God, this has been forever, and God, I was young. I actually was fucking bleeding. It was more of an accident than anything else. The landscaper guys went and cut some bushes down in the little stumps, like 2-3 inches across or at an angle, and if I got shoved on them and fell on it, that would cut me up. So I'm fucking bleeding. I see my principal, my teacher, and some other third dingle fuck. I never knew who they were. So I walk up fucking bleeding, and I'm like, what the fuck? Well, I didn't say what the fuck. I'm just like, why aren't you doing anything about the bullies? Why aren't you protecting me? I'm doing what you said. You're not doing anything. I forgot what I said. I mean, this was forever ago, nearly 30 years. And what I do remember is I made my teacher cry. I made my principal embarrassed. And the third person, I don't know what the hell, but my parents actually told me that I made my teacher cry, and I'm thinking, good. But anyway, next thing I know, there's this weird stranger sitting in my classes watching me and scribbling on a notepad. And I had no idea what was going on. I should have known, like I know now, this is a setup. And what I do remember is I was in art class, and there was an adult handwriting. Somebody wrote, fuck you, Nilly. Well, that's not my real name, but... So I see that, and I'm like, oh, come on, what is this? So I go to the teacher, and I'm like, what is happening? Why are you letting this happen? And, of course, that stranger's just scribbling away. and I was too young to understand what was going on. And this is where my memory gets a little spotty. Next thing I know, I'm out of school, but then I'm told I'm going to a special school. And then the taxi shows up.
Oh
And
God, I remember that feeling.
That's a really special school when a taxi is the one coming on you.
yeah, this is fucked. Yeah, I can't make this shit up. Nobody can make this shit up. So I ride the taxi there with a couple other behavior problem type kids. I don't know how else to say it. Like, they weren't like, special needs or like, dumb or slow or anything. It was just kids who the system wanted to be rid of them. And we get dropped off there, and it's just this dingy old crappy building. It looked like an old ass school that was an old ass school 20 years before I went there. And I go in, and it's mostly empty. The classes are maybe 5 kids at most. There's always at least 2 teachers in each classroom. And it was weird. Everybody seemed surprised that I behaved myself. And oh wait, yeah, so I skipped the tour. So the tour of it was just this old beat up 50-year-old building that I went through. And the first time I realized something was up is I noticed this weird room with this big heavy metal door swung open. And I was told this is the locking timeout room.
Haha, welcome to isolation.
Yep. And it was as creepy as I could imagine it being. There was a tiny little window at the top, like far out of reach at the top of the wall with like bars and shit over it, like the diagonal bars over the glass.
Mm-hmm.
And the latch had a spring in it. And I, being a curious kid who had no idea what he was getting into, I went, why is there a spring so you have to hold the latch shut? So the person tells me, oh, well, you have to hold it shut for safety. And I'm thinking, that doesn't make sense. And he said, yeah, there was a fire and a kid got left in there and died from smoke.
Oh!
Yeah, so there's a kill count already.
Plot thickens. KD ratio +1.
Yeah, and I'm just... What pisses me off about myself the most is I didn't think that this was fucked up and it's something that I should tell anybody about. Because when you're a kid, everything's new. There's no normal yet because you haven't lived anything yet. So it's like, this happens. This is real. Okay, I'm scared now. So I just went through the fucking motions, and I'm told they had 4 levels.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what level you start at. You don't start at 1. 1 is like the fuck you punishment level. But basically, if you behave yourself, you get the good boy, good girl points, and you rate and you go up. And if you annoy a teacher or misbehave, you go down.
So they did what Cross Creek used to do, where they started you off at level 2 and gave you rope to fuck up and then bust you all the way down, so they could be like, this is what happens when you fuck up. Stop fucking up. You would have been level 3. Yeah, that's what they did.
It's not Wasp's Insidious. Like, they weren't... Wasp's was a polished kind of cult scam. Like, it still stands out as just a well-oiled, fucked up machine from hell.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So, and I will tell you when I got busted down, it's fucked up. But anyway, so I remember just being led through it, and I'm in this weird school where there's hardly anybody there, and everybody seemed surprised I was present. Like, everything's going to be out of order because I remember so little. I had somebody tell me straight up, I don't know why you're here. I say, what?
So you're fine. If it's out of order, just talk as it comes to you. Let it go.
Yeah, like I was told they don't know why I'm here. My own parents were like, we don't know why you're being sent there. Because I made the school system look bad, basically. But...
lovely.
Well, yeah, because I said I made my teacher cry because she just fucking stood there and watched when I got beat up. Anyway, so...
Fuck that bitch.
I think the first memory that I can recall that was fucked up was... I don't know why it's always the skinniest kids who fight the hardest, but this little kid was like a string bean, and he just would throw down and not stop, and I saw him getting manhandled by like 4 grown-ass men thrown in the lock and timeout room. They bolted it shut, held it shut, and the door was being beaten off the latches almost. And this kid had to have been 100 pounds soaking wet. He's screaming, beating on it, and I'm just sitting there, just blank, like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And I repeat, this is a public school system school, and I went home every day.
That's fucking wild.
And it gets worse. And I remember on a field trip, like we were in one of those big creepy conversion vans. I was sitting up front because I was the kid who didn't belong there, and nobody knew what the fuck I was there. And that kid, I'll call him Jay. That's his first initial. He had a mouth. Does anybody know what a basket restraint is?
Sounds like getting put in a cradle in wrestling.
That might be fairly close. Your arms are crossed in front of your chest, and the whole point is it's never supposed to be face down. You're supposed to be sitting or on your side, right?
Okay.
Well, Jay mouthed off and insulted a teacher, so the teacher crossed his arms, put him face down, and sat on him.
Oh, it's a straitjacket restraint where they fucking cross your arms, squeeze you, and drop you.
Yeah, and they sat on him, and this was a big dude. He was like 300 pounds. The guy was gigantic.
Yeah, that fucking tracks.
Yeah, that hurts. Been there.
Yeah, and it's so fucked up because in terms of my own...
it is.
Like, my own spotty memory, I've been threatened with that fucking room, but I don't remember being there, but I can imagine it. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't really want to know. I can guess. And the way that I got in deep trouble, and this was me doing it myself, but I was so young I didn't realize what was going on. So the two teachers, one man, one woman, I don't remember their fucking names. The woman was eating a little condiment cup of peanuts for lunch instead of an actual lunch. So I'm like, hey, why are you just eating peanuts? Why not get lunch?
That's odd that they allowed peanuts. Because
90s.
A lot of time... No, yeah, but even then in the 90s, they stopped... a lot of schools were outlawing that already. So
really?
Yeah. So I remember, like, peanut butter. They stopped serving, like, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in fucking elementary schools and shit around that time.
That's some shit.
Yeah.
That was all prior to when they started doing a lot of the allergy stuff, too. So... Once they started doing the...
You know what? It was probably during that transition period of, like, 96, 97?
Somewhere around there in the mid-90s when they started giving a fuck.
Yeah. Also, God damn, I'm old.
Yeah, we are. Hi. Welcome to the
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
gray hair club.
Yes, or if you have hair.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
I'm just as bald as Jack.
I didn't mean to make you feel awkward, Jack. Never.
Anyway, so I just asked innocently why she's eating the fucking peanuts, and she says she's on the Atkins diet because back in the 90s that was all the rage, right?
Oh my God, yeah, it was.
The Krakens diet, as also known.
So stupid me, because both my teachers were fat, I turned to the guy and asked why he doesn't try it.
Oh, bro.
This guy exploded. His face got 2 sizes bigger, beet red, still flying on my 10-year-old stupid innocent ass saying, hey, she's trying to lose weight, why aren't you? But I didn't even say that. I just asked why he doesn't try it too.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mocked his Atkins and Jenny Craig, bro. You don't bring up Jenny Craig. How dare you?
Yeah, and like he was screaming, balling up his fists. Like, I don't remember what I felt. I just remember I was shrinking into the fucking corner. And he, like, busted me all the way down to level 1 and shit. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck did I say? But I was, like, 10. I mean, now I know what the fuck I did. But, Jesus Christ.
You called him a fat fuck and said he needs to get on a fucking diet. That's what he did.
I mean, if he was still alive, I'd do it now. Fuck him. But I don't even remember his fucking name. And... like, I have other just spotty memories of just, like, restraints, kid-on-kid fights, and then they both get restrained, sat on, and thrown up in the room. And just somebody just walking out of line and people just blowing up and exploding. But no, there were no seminars. There was none of the attack therapy unless you called someone fat. But it was just this weird place that I was at.
So I'm wondering if that school that you went to was kind of not necessarily the first iteration, but public schools nowadays they have the those
restraint room, yeah.
Not necessarily the restraint room, but like just like the school in general for kids that are struggling, I guess you could say. So I guess when I was in high school, they would call it like they would call it, the bad kid school.
BOCES.
I'm wondering if that was kind of one of those like initial iterations of when those started to become more prominent, I guess, within the educational industry. Yeah, it wasn't a program. Like it wasn't one of those, but it was like
you're not wrong.
Maybe something that took
It was in the middle.
inspiration,
because of those, the secondary BOCE program schools opened up, and that was those were separate from like, hey, I got a BOCES class later on today. Remember, you like in New York, we would leave for BOCES, go to like automotive, drafting and shit like that. But then they had the secondary school, which was BOCES like high school, and that's what those
they all
came
had
from.
some weird fucking name and shit.
Yeah,
you're like, what is this?
But then it was after those that night school became a thing again in like 2002 and 01 and 2000s when night school became popular again because schools like that kept getting in trouble for that shit.
Shit.
So you got sent to this school where without any basic knowledge or understanding of why it was going on.
I had no idea what was going on.
And you saw basically the fundamentals of program living, which you didn't even realize at the time, obviously, because you said you were in 5th grade.
I was 10.
And going as you get older, suddenly you stumble across this industry of bullshit and fuckery.
Ding, ding, ding.
And you wind up unlocking some random memory of your time in, a pre-program. Well, not necessarily pre-program.
No, not pre-program.
Synanon was around.
Junior program?
I guess we could call it that. I mean, I guess what's one hell of a way to stumble across the TTI? I'm just gonna say that right now.
Now, with all of that, how'd
I get out?
No.
Because that's a story.
Kicked out the window and ran. What do you mean?
No, I want to know. So, what was it like when you realized that it was an industry? Like when you came to that realization, like what he was talking about, where you started realizing you went to a school and then you realize there's a whole there's a whole fucking economic system to this shit. Like there's all these programs and this. What the fuck? And then the documentary comes out. So, well, years later, obviously, but like, what was that like
20.
realizing? Like, what was that like realizing? Like the shit you went through as a kid, what you thought was just kind of like a weird fucked up situation, to holy fuck, people were making millions on this bullshit. What was that like?
Well, billions with a B, if not a trillion by now. But
facts.
Somewhere between white hot incoherent rage and despair. I mean, the first thoughts I had when I was 18, 19 and realized there was a fucking industry were very dumb ideas, and I'm glad somebody talked me down from just taking care of it the very quick and dirty way. Because I was so fucking pissed off, and I was just so boiling over because of even more personal shit going on that already made me feel just betrayed by everything, that I just about boiled over. And this was around the time that the fucking DC sniper was caught, where he did the bullshit with the fold down license plate. So I'm like, there's an idea. And then I'm like, that's fucking stupid. I shouldn't do that. That's dumb. I'm being a teenage boy. Quit. And
ingenious, but dumb.
Yeah, extremely dumb.
You're 18, 19 years old, stumbling upon this industry, and at the time, just like, did you remember? Did you associate the two?
I didn't remember anything, and my memory would come and go. Like, when you forget, you also forget all the times you thought about it, because your brain is just burying all that shit. And then you get reminded, or someone reminds you, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like you just sit there like, how did I forget? And you remember all the times you thought about it. How did I forget that? Mm-hmm. Your brain will block that shit out, because there were times I was thinking, why do I care? How do I know about this so well? How do I get this? And I was thinking, well, just because I spent so much time listening to people and reading and talking, and then someone was like, no, you were a program kid too, and I'm Nilly, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. It's just,
welcome to the fucked up community.
So you stumble upon the industry. You don't remember shit about your time in something similar at the point in time. So what caused you to do the deep dive that you did? Like what drove that passion for you to become an advocate?
It was metaphysical evil. It was wrong. It was, my agnosticism was wiped away in a minute, in an instant, because evil was real and I was staring it in the face. It was something I couldn't forget about. It was something too wrong to just do nothing about. And I realized, okay, I can't just one-man this shit. That's stupid. God knows it's tempting, but no, you can't do that.
I'm with you on that one. It's very tempting.
Yeah. And it's just, well, what the fuck can I do? What am I good at? And at the time, I was good at being a little shit on a computer in a very anonymous way.
And telling people they need to be on Atkins. We understand.
But, I'm sure you've heard of the meme 7 proxies in Linux.
Yes.
Well, that's how I avoided getting sued by some people I'll go on about later if we have time.
You're more than welcome to name drop and more than welcome to talk about them.
Susan fucking Chef. Because she has been...
this is one that you wanted to go off about for a while.
Ugh.
All right, Nilly, go for it, bud.
Go for it.
The reason I mentioned
Let
Sue
it out.
Chef now is because she's been kind of nibbling on the edges after the program was dropped. Because she's been involved with the industry. Chronologically from the beginning. Give me a minute.
In
Here we go.
in
Go
what
ahead.
sense?
So, she first was involved in the industry when she sent her kid to a program.
Let him cook.
And the reason for that, because she sued people, was her Olympic hopeful daughter broke her collarbone, and Sue wanted to keep attention. And the only way she could keep attention on herself is if her gymnast kid was a troubled kid. I'm fucking serious.
Oh, we know you are. We completely know you are.
You probably know some of this. And
Yeah, a little bit.
And so because she's sous chef, she channels her inner Kyle's mom and just her inner super bitch. And she starts referring kids to WASP programs for free months of tuition. And then there's no more to give her, so they pay her cash. And she spins up an EdCon business. She makes some fucking money, and I know this because I saw the documents for Discovery when Wasps versus Sous Chef happened in Utah. So what happened around 2007-ish, 7, 8? I'm kind of struggling because a lot of the old records are gone. There was a website called ISAC that had a ton of this that got scared into going away. So that's another thing to go on about. But anyway, Wasps was basically catching some heat, and Sous Chef is like, yeah, I'm going to say they're bad too, but I know where the good programs are. Hint, there aren't any. And when that was going on, Wasps decided to sue her for it, and even pointed out that she continued to refer kids to Wasps even after pulling her kids out. So surely she can't sincerely think Wasps is that bad, because she was still doing this, referring kids even after she started saying it was bad. And it's such a fucking mess. And yeah, so she ends up getting on Fornet's radar because she talks about herself as this expert advocate, because she's an expert at swindling people. She's therefore an expert in education, because it's called an ed-con for a reason.
Goddamn con women.
You tell me, man. And things get really spicy when I'm not going to use the name. Let me try to make sure I get the initials. I'm going to change the initials. Give me like two seconds.
I mean, feel free.
Yeah, but like the names of the victims, I don't want to mention it.
Oh, victims.
Okay.
I thought you meant staff members or something. I was like, fuck them bitches.
Oh, I got some shit about a staff member coming, but it's going to be puckering. Anyway, so Texas mom. I'll call her Texas mom because she lived up to the fucking name. Texas mom adopted a girl from a far-flung nation I won't name, who needed serious help. And the school system in Texas was basically, lady, we can't handle your kid. She's too fucked up. Like, she's acting out. She needs serious therapy. She's hitting on every teacher and other shit I won't go into to protect this person. She was seriously abused. And so Texas mom goes online, and because back then you could spamdex Google by making 1 million blog sites or blogspot websites and pointing them to one common website because Google was naive. And she found Sous Chef, and Sous Chef is an expert because she said so. So Sous Chef sent a Texas kid to a program called Whitmore. Anybody heard of that?
Yes.
Oh, God, you're going to hear some shit. So,
we're here for it.
So one of the phone calls home made Texas mom think something was fishy. Texas mom drove all the way from southern Texas to Nephi, Utah.
Holy shit, that's a drive.
Yep, got there at like 2 a.m., pulled her kid out kicking and screaming, took her to therapy. Well, home and then therapy. I can share this. During one of the therapy sessions, the fucking brainwashing was so severe that Texas kid, after talking about the horrible shit done to her that she was forced to do to other kids, she fought both of the adults in the room tooth and nail to call Whitmore and apologize. I know this because Texas mom fucking told me. This is when shit started getting a little more personal.
That's weird. She called to apologize to the school that she just got taken out of?
Yes, because
damn,
the fucking Kool-Aid had just soaked in so
oh
deep,
yeah. But... oh yeah. Real Jim Jones level type shit.
Oh God. So what I will say, the things that stand out the most about this, and I could go on for probably an hour about the woman who ran this, and like it was just a couple. It was Cheryl Sudweeks and her husband Mark, but Cheryl was the one always accused of doing the worst.
Ah, the Sudweeks, yes, very familiar.
Oh, you know about this?
Oh yeah, that's a lovely family of a bunch of pieces of fucking shit. Fuck
yeah,
them.
they first got on government radar by abusing horses in Canada and were banned from owning them for I think 10 years.
Yep, using them and shooting them prematurely when they didn't need to shoot them to kill them. They did it out of just the pure enjoyment of it.
So that's where Narv got the idea, Carolina Springs, right?
Oh, oh,
I know about that shit too.
Oh,
I got a Carolina Springs story too. So anyway,
he came with the ammo tonight, folks. Ah, hell.
Well, I've been in this shit for 20 fucking years. I can't fucking help it.
I love it.
Stumbled over some shit.
I love it.
But like, there was one kid there, another skinny one that was singled out. I'm not going to name him. Basically, Cheryl would tie him up and have the other kids beat him up. There was also forced exercise, like hours and hours until he literally couldn't move them. He just beat him up. I remember reading the depositions. I can get those for you if you want to read them, where all the kids consistently talked about, like, she'd lock them in a closet all night. She'd take their clothes off, put them outside in the winter for a couple hours. And the worst, which is in no particular order, she'd parade in her Magic Mormon underwear a lot. Kids reported individual kids being taken to her bedroom. And she liked to tie kids up with zip ties. I do not like this woman very much.
Nope. There's a special ring in hell for women like her.
Yeah, and it just fucking kills me that fuck, this shit happened. And so Texas mom, back to that, because this isn't just about this bad person. Texas mom went, Sue, you won't believe what they did to my kid. Please help me with my kid. Please help me warn people about this awful program. So guess what Sue does?
What?
She tries to bury Texas mom by hiring a private investigator to find out that her husband cheated on her. She set up blog spots to harass her. She then goes and she even calls this woman Cruella DeVille and has a shitty early 2000s pixelated screenshot of Cruella DeVille from 1001 Dalmatians. That's how petty Sous Chef is. It's still up. I could get the link if you want to see it.
You mean 101 Dalmatians?
Or whatever.
How did I know you were gonna fucking point that out? Let
No,
the man speak.
I'm not trying. I thought there was a movie I missed. Last I remember, there was only 101. 1001 would be awesome, though. Can we make that movie?
1001 fucked up nights. God damn it. But anyway, yeah. So
I'm in.
Shit. so yeah, like back to Sue here. You know, Sue just wanted to cover her ass. Well, what else? Well, I'll get to that. Sue just wanted to cover her ass. So she harassed fucking Texas mom. I got to remember not to say her name because I don't want her to catch any flack for this. And yeah, and Sue just showed her true colors. She just wanted money and to just cover her ass and let her do whatever she wanted. And she's still trying to poke in from the edges with all the program stuff. I remember when the documentary dropped, the subreddit Troubled Teens had people talking about Sue showing up. People in the Facebook groups were talking about how Sue's trying to try to join and get invited. And yeah. And in terms of the reason we call her Sue, she sued Fornits. She sued individuals on Fornits. She tried to sue me, but she couldn't find out who I was.
Way to go, Nilly.
I'm born Nilly.
The best thing is, there was this email group like the trekkers. I think it was like actual just hiking, not the wilderness therapy torture shit. And they named a few of my sock puppets, and I'm just sitting there laughing like, really? I'm sure you'd love to sue me, wouldn't you? But the only lawsuit of hers that ever stuck was against a woman who was in a FEMA trailer. Wait, this might have been 2007 or even 6 because Katrina was in 06, right? That might have been when you were in the program. I shouldn't have asked. I'm sorry.
No, Katrina was
No.
Katrina was after the program.
Now I need to remember when Katrina was. So give me a quick second, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, but anyway,
Katrina started under Bush and kept going under
the hurricane?
Yeah.
What? No.
05.
August 23rd, 2005 was the
And-
start date of Hurricane Katrina until August 31st,
Yeah.
2005. So, yes, I was in the program.
Yeah, we were.
Shit, dude, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was
Yeah.
like, I should know this. Why
just-
do I not
I
know
just
this?
remember the devastation like kept continuing even with like Obama. Like Obama was still going down there because it was still fucked up down there.
Like
Oh,
East
man.
Texas through Louisiana was just fucked.
Oh,
like,
fucking demolished, bro.
capital fucked.
New Orleans was underwater for like what felt like 2 years.
Yeah, I think parts of it were flooded that long. Anyway, and this woman in a FEMA trailer couldn't respond or go to court because fucking Katrina happened. So Sue wins by default and brags about how she won $11 million in damages and punitive against somebody saying that she's a piece of shit. So here I am, nearly 20 years later, saying, Sue, you're a piece of shit. Everybody knows you're a piece of shit. Everything's court fucking record. Shut the fuck up. Push comes to shove. All we have to do is go to the clerk of the court. We don't even need discovery.
True.
Wasps already dug up your shit. When you sued Hornets, everybody dug up your shit, and I remember.
Well, that on
Somebody's
top of it,
done
all
it.
you gotta do is fill out a Freedom of Information Act form, and you can fucking get whatever you want from it.
Pretty much, unless she has extremely powerful friends, and I don't think she's that connected. I think she's just a small-time swindler who made her money off of getting kids tortured.
And sucking dick.
Maybe, man. I don't know what Sue does. Shit, I don't care.
Oh, Susu sucking up the slurp.
Yeah, so that was probably one of the craziest things that I'd ever been involved with. Is like I knew that I was dealing with tortured kids. I knew I was dealing with mind fucks and brainwashing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I focused on the victims. I wasn't focusing on the perps. I wasn't focusing on, the people running the seminars. And I've been spending a lot of time trying to put those back together because nobody remembers them. But just getting like a fire hose of just greed and evil just fucking killed me. I was early 20s. I wasn't really equipped for this. But then again, you guys were in Wasps as teenagers. Nobody's equipped for that.
Yeah,
True.
well, we've already told our story, so this one's all you, bud. You just
So
go. But
with your activism,
Yep.
what have you been doing with that? Like, are you what groups have you been working with? What have you guys accomplished? What are you trying to accomplish? What have you personally accomplished? What are you doing? Let everybody kind of know like what it is you're actually attacking and aiming at specifically.
So what I've done and what I do is I basically just a lot of just talking to people who will actually listen and listening to people who want to say something and reading what they say and saving everything I see with their permission so that if a Facebook group goes down or gets deleted or is passively manipulated into going away or a certain website, goes
I see
down
what
because
you fucking did there, you piece of shit. Put it down.
nice. or a website like
Fucking
ISCC
hate it
goes away, I'll have a record and I can put it back up because a lot of good information just got buried and disappeared. And the really important small victories came from when you talk to a parent and they fucking listen and they pull the kid out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the
Yep.
best things ever.
Yeah, but that's also harrowing. I still remember the first kid I got pulled out. Let's call her B. She went to Carolina Springs, Narvin's program. And her mother was on Fornits and saying, this doesn't really seem right. This doesn't make sense. Why can't I talk to my kid? And we're telling her, this is what's happening to your kid. And she was incredulous, but she kept listening. And we kept spoon feeding it because we learned if you told them the whole truth, they just couldn't believe it.
Yep.
And she produces a picture of her daughter after a seminar, like immediately after. And she was red-faced, sweaty, exhausted. And another thing the mother noticed that nobody else would have noticed is instead of like shaped eyebrows like everybody did back then, her mother said, and I quote, caterpillars for eyebrows. So I'm like, yeah, you can't shave until you earn the privilege.
Yeah, you can't self-groom until you're
Nope.
allowed.
Like you're basically just given soap and toothpaste at level 1, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and then if you
Soap, toothpaste, and
if you have a
get
beard,
your
just
shampoo.
if you have
Well,
a
the
beard,
guys,
stubble,
they came around.
single bladed razor, but no shaving cream or nothing. You had your soap and water, and you would
The
get
fuck?
You
Yeah,
would
for
get
the
cut
guy's
up.
side, they had they walked around with a box with holes drilled in the top, where they had all the single blade razors stuffed in the top and all that. And you didn't get shaving cream; you had soap and fucking water, and that's what you had to use.
and it
That's why
hurt
everybody's-
like hell.
So everybody's
Oh,
necks look
yeah.
like every
Dude,
single.
I got a thing fucking right here, like in between my fucking
Right here.
lip and my fucking chin from shaving right there. I wound up getting this fucking abscess there, and it got infected, and it didn't go away for the longest time, and it was just fucking there.
I got
an abscess story for later.
I got that one here, and I still get that one right here. Remember, I had that ingrown hair that we couldn't get out, and that one spot, it's nonstop, and that's the only spot. Like if I shave it, I cut, it's the same exact fucking spot because it's just a permanent fucking lump, and I just fucking goddamn single-sided razors.
Yeah, programs.
I like how you help me remember shit, you two. So, there was a kid at Casa, Casa by the Sea. I remember two things from this kid. One is they loved Elvis, and they would just change the topic to Elvis. Like the kid was mildly autistic, but rock the fuck on, Elvis is awesome. The second thing was I was told how bad the hygiene was. Like she said that in the showers there was this one wall where everybody would just pop their pustules on that wall and then wash it off. Like everybody would just get lumps on their legs and their feet. And
That sounds about right.
yeah, and I'm just thinking, it just keeps coming. Like the more little pokes to remember shit.
Yeah, Hubler, when we interviewed Josh Hubler, he was saying how the hygiene there was fucking terrible. Like, he didn't go into detail about it, but even he mentioned, like, it was a complete shit show.
Well, hold on. Did he have to earn deodorant too, or antiperspirant, or was that something you could just get?
I don't remember if he talked about that.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember if he talked about that. He did say there was, when he was there, things were a little bit different because, like, they had their riot already. Things were getting shut down. He said things were a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more chill. Like, they had a little bit more freedom compared to Ivy Ridge.
Well, I mean, like you two at Ivy Ridge, did you guys get deodorant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God! I
And
could only
if,
imagine the smell. Fuck.
Yeah. No, we they went around on. How the fuck did we get it? I know there was like a store day or something, but I can't.
It was like
fucking
once a month.
remember how we got the hygiene stuff.
They would send down two students with their with laundry bags, with the clear mesh laundry bag, and they would fill them, and everything was in Ziploc bags, and it would have your name on it, and then you'd hand out the bags, and we would get like two sticks. We would get like 1 or 2 sticks of deodorant, 1 or 2 bars of soap, and then a toothbrush and toothpaste if you needed it.
I legitimately cannot remember how we got the hygiene stuff.
I only remember that because it was like when I got commissary when I was in jail.
Because as an upper level, you could have shit sent from home, like so you
Yeah.
could get like your parents could send you fucking like Old Spice and shit like that, so you had like your own shower gel. But as a lower level, it was a completely different story. You had to get it from the school store.
Yeah,
They charged your parents $80 for it, right?
Yeah, you would just line. You would either you would line up, but if it was like during family rep time, they would have people go down and get it and then bring it all back, and it would be handed out during family rep time or evening group.
Yeah, I legit can't fucking remember that detail. So thanks for that.
So,
you
yeah,
just
for whatever reason, I was able to remember that.
Yeah, you guys just reminded me some of the shit some of the women have told me, like moldy hair, but the boys were all buzz cut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, up to us. It couldn't be too close to the skin though, because they didn't want you to look like skinhead. So it was like 2. It was like the lowest they would let you go.
So you just got like fuzz head.
Basically,
you couldn't even shave your head. Another thing that a lot of people told me privately, I'm not going to name names, obviously. Girls had it especially bad. They were given like the cheapest fucking pads, and they bled through them, and then were given shit for it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I've had so many people tell me that for so long, and I'm just, that's cruel. But
We've heard
what are we
that.
talking about?
We've heard that a lot as well. The women, we say it all the time. We've said it on the web shows. We've said it on other recorded episodes. When it comes to the female side of things, the females, the mental game for them was off the charts, and that included their hygiene. That included, just how rough they had it, like as far as being females, like just being women. Like they'd get pads, they'd bleed through them, they'd be humiliated for them. If they had cramps, they would fucking. I remember talking to some of our sisters in the group, and they'd be like, if you had cramps and you were doubled over like you had a stomach ache, they'd fucking basically force you to stand up and like put their hands to their side and like basically call them fucking pussies and shit like that. Like it was, yeah.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing about this is I was like, more awful shit just kept coming out constantly for all those years, and you just could never tear yourself away from it because it just never stopped. Like little details, because people's memory were spotty, because you can't remember all of this. You'd go crazy. I mean, little bits and pieces from this person, that person, and you just started putting together a more complete picture over time, and it's fucking evil. I just couldn't turn away from it, whether or not I remembered what I went through.
Fair.
All right, so shit. We kind of. Do you want to go back to how I got out of the little junior program and
Please,
what the rest
yeah.
of school was like?
Go for it.
So I do remember this pretty recently. This psychologist lady comes up. She says, "Why are you here?" I go, "I don't know, because I'm 10 and I'm scared out of my mind, because every day a fucking taxi takes me to this insane weird place." So she gives me first she just talks about my family life, like therapy type shit. And she's like, "Okay, your parents are divorcing." And she's like, "But you don't like get in fights." And I'm like, "No." So then she gives me an IQ test. And she finishes that, and my parents see it before me. So they're like, "Hey, you're fucking smart. You're going back to normal school now." I don't remember a whole lot else after that, other than I think that one part of the system just tried to make me go away, and then the other part that had to pay for it said, "No, he's fine." I can say that experience was enough to fuck me up. I quit talking to people as much. I kind of just avoided everybody. I didn't trust anybody, and I didn't even know why I didn't for the longest time. It took until high school for me to come back out of my shell. Like all of middle school, I was just like a phantom. I just wasn't there. Like I remember in 6th grade, this kid ran up and hit me, and he didn't even hit hard enough to like hurt me, but I didn't even bother hitting back. I literally just stood there. And I'm thinking now that makes a little more sense, but it's weird because now if anybody messes with me, I just explode immediately, like nuclear off the bat. I go 0 to 11. I see a smile.
Wait, from him or me?
Both.
Okay. Who's to say? We're both smirking.
Yeah, and it fucking sucks because there's certain behaviors you can't get rid of.
Don't fucking shake your head, no, you piece of shit.
Like it sucks. Like there's certain behaviors people pick up on. Predators pick up on it. They know you've been through some shit, but they don't necessarily know you're gonna fly off the handle. So they start shit, and then you just go fucking thermonuclear, and then they look shocked and act like they're the victim. I'm sure you've been there a few times.
Yep.
So middle school, not too remarkable. I just avoided people and was fucking depressed and evasive and kind of didn't do a whole lot. High school, I came out of the shell, and it was kind of okay. Nothing really remarkable there, except I was just a lot more shy than I really should have been. But, I mean, that's what happens. You go through an experience even remotely 1% like this. I don't know how bad the junior program should be called. I don't want to assign a percent to it. It wasn't program bad, but it was bad enough.
There is no... See, I hate... That's something that's been happening a lot in our community. Like, people are trying to rate, "Oh, this was worse than this, this was..." There is no fucking better or fucking worse. Like,
nope.
They all fucking sucked. Like, yeah, Casa may have had more freedoms where, like, they went outside and they played volleyball and shit, and people at Ridge were like, "What the fuck's outside?" But at the same time, their hygiene, their fucking the language barrier, that's more of a mental fuck than not being able to go outside. Like, you can't even fucking communicate with the people who are supposedly fucking in charge of you, and because you don't understand them, they're gonna punch you in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like, there is no better or fucking worse. They all fucking sucked, and they all were fucking hell.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is, it's probably better to say it's different. Like, if you're going in at 17, you're still going to get fucked for life. If you go in at 12, I mean, yeah, a fucking 12-year-old, what the fuck do you expect is going to happen to them? Or there's Majestic Ranch, and I could probably go on for an hour about that.
Oh, fuck that place.
Yeah, they took kids as young as 7.
Yes, they did.
And that one affidavit, I think it was Amberly, who kind of spilled the beans on Majestic Ranch. Have you read that?
I think it was, yeah. I haven't read the whole thing. I got like a quarter way through it, and I wanted to fucking shoot my monitor, so I turned it the fuck, like, I walked away from it.
I know that feeling. I made myself go through it because I was saving it to make sure it wouldn't get lost, and you pick your jaw up off the floor about 4 or 5 times, and eventually you just kind of go numb. But then you finish it and go, "What the fuck did I read?"
Once I saw the age thing on there, I fucking just yelled, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Walked away, looked at my computer, walked away, looked back at my computer, and I was gonna shoot my computer. Like, I was so mad.
I straight up don't know how my neighbors haven't made complaints about me.
Mine's called the cops on me before.
I haven't had that happen,
for yelling about program shit. My window was open and I was just screaming. The cops were like, "Is everything okay?" I was like, "Fine." Just reading shit that's making me mad. My wife's like, "He's fine. He's cranky." Like,
man, I would have tried to make the cops read that and see if they yelled too. I got a story about that, even if you want to hear it. Yeah, so I had a friend. Without going too much in detail, he was in the military, and he was like this adjutant, like bosom buddy with this one admiral. He was Navy.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel attacked here.
And he had a couple hustles going. He'd go to admin and get a little bit too much for his housing allowance. He dealed a little bit on the side because Marines just loved all the shit he slid him, and he was set. He was about to make E5. He already had a Christmas tree of medals for showing up on time because the admiral loved him so much.
Oh, he was getting accommodations and shit for like in the Army, we had the Army Accommodation Medal for like never being late, not getting in trouble, shit like that. So he had a nice little stack going of ass kissery. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. It actually was so bad or so good, depending how you look at it. He accidentally ran over the admiral's foot picking him up once. So the admiral made him sit in the back. The admiral drove. And when they get to base, the sentry just like loses his shit seeing this admiral driving a fucking E4 around. But anyway,
that's awesome. I'm just picturing that in my head. That fucking gate guard would be losing his fucking shit, especially if he's an NCO just screaming at the dude in the back seat. Sorry, that makes me laugh just picturing that in my head. That'd be awesome.
So what's gonna make you laugh harder is he got busted for sliding ecstasy to 2 Marines, and they got busted. So he goes to military prison for 4 years.
You don't give Marines colorful fucking pills to swallow. They just eat them. Bad idea.
Crayons. But this guy was Navy. He should have known better. But anyway, the thing with his life that fucked him up is military prison you would think is bad, but compared to a regular prison, it's better.
Leavenworth is up there with like some state pens from what I've heard. I don't know anything about like Navy pens.
Yeah, and God, it's been forever since I spoke to the guy. But anyway, when he got out, he was just so appalled at how bad like normal prison is. He became like an anti-prison or a prison reform type activist, and he had a bunch of friends. He had COs, wardens, police officers, and gangbangers for friends. I don't know how he managed to pull it off. He's one of those peacemaker types, but he was friends with a lot of people, and I was friends with him and talking with him a lot when Over the GW came out.
Over the what?
Over the GW Bridge. It was the indie movie made by program survivors about kids helping kids.
Yes, I am. I'm familiar with it. I haven't seen it, but I am very familiar with it.
Within like 5 minutes, the kid taken to the program is strip searched, cavity searched, and tricked into signing his rights away and screams at the top of his lungs. It's pretty accurate. And the reason I bring that up, for those who haven't seen it yet, is one, so you know what you're getting into, and two, when prison wardens, COs, cops, and gangbangers and cons saw this, they lost their shit. They couldn't believe this was happening to kids. So I'm thinking if we reach out to them, we might get a little more traction just because they can't believe this shit.
I would love to have them on the show.
Pretty sure there's going to be some more traction happening anyways. There's another documentary that's coming out in about a week or two.
Is that the one on HBO or Cinemax?
Yep, there's that one that's coming out.
With Daniel Bergoli's getting one too. Fucking the Catch Me Outside girl.
That's the same one. That's the same
one. That's right. Is it? Okay.
Oh my God, he just reminded me. I was watching.
So there's what, 2 coming out?
No, it's just one, but it's a 3-episode one.
With Daniel Bergoli, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I fucking saw Dr. Phil send kids to programs on live TV.
Yep, we all have, and it's infuriating.
Why do you think we're waiting and hoping and just chomping at the bit for them to invite us to come be on a show?
Which they already did, but it wasn't. But that so yeah, that was. Hey, do you guys want to be on the Dr. Phil show? And we were both like, I read it. Dude, I read it. I was screaming yes, but he was handling it, so I was like, I'm not gonna say that. And he was like, unfortunately, we were on the guy side, but
what the fuck?
No, quite literally.
No bullshit.
I had a whole conversation with his producer, one of his producers,
and I was just watching
about going through and bringing us on and talking about the whole grooming aspect of it. And I was like, "You do realize we were on the guy's side?" And she goes, "Oh, I was unaware of this." And I was like, "Well," and I kind of laid it out, and I ended the message with something along the lines of, it was part of the Worldwide Association of Specialty Programs, WASP, which I'm sure Dr. Phil is very familiar with. And just kind of left it at that. And she comes back like the next day and she goes, we think it would be better that if we do a male-centric episode that we could give dedicate more time to it, then we would have you come on. But I would like to keep this line of communication open. And I was like, really? It's like, that doesn't, okay, sure. Like, I told her, I was like, we are more than willing to come on and have this conversation with them. It's like, so yeah, just let us know. So there's something in the pipeline where we're already basically there.
And bro, if it's live fucking TV, bro, get me across from that motherfucker.
that is a thing that is potentially somewhere in the pipeline, somewhere down the line.
I would die happy if I saw you just steamroll Dr. Phil, dude.
Oh, you don't we've already had this discussion with exactly how it's going to go. We know exactly what we're going to do when we get on there, and it's going to start off perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. Mm-hmm.
And then we just ask simple questions.
And then
it's fine.
There's going to be a specific point, and we already said it. Jack's going to lead up to some stuff, and I'm just going to sit back, and I'll make my little comments or whatever, and then he's going to ask a question, and depending on how that's answered, he's just going to smile and look at me. And it's just gonna happen.
Dr. Phil is such a sanctimonious dumbass sometimes, man. I don't know how the fuck he does it. I don't know how you could do it either.
It's the mustache. Wait, did you just call me sanctimonious?
No, Dr. Phil.
Well, he said he's sanctimonious. I don't know how he does it, or you. And I was like, did you just call it sanctimonious? Like,
no, I don't know how you could do it. Like having to be face to face with Dr. Phil's just
quite easily
bullshit aura.
Bro, if I could do it with John Free, I could do it with Dr. Phil.
Oh God, that.
I mean,
go ahead, Nilly. I'm sure you got something to say about the John Free situation.
I mean, at least if we talk to Dr. Phil, we're not talking with an alleged murderer that happened prior to speaking with him.
I mean, never mind.
No. Say it. Let the intrusive thought wins on this one. Go. No. You can't do that. You can't fucking do that. Our fucking fans demand this shit.
I can't reach it. It's
no,
Come
stop it.
on.
No, don't do that. We have Nilly on here. Come on. He's cooking.
We gotta let Nilly talk then. Let Nilly cook. Don't let me cook.
No, you need to cook right now because that was good. I know it was good. Say it.
Anyway, fuck. I'll just keep it going. But like, Dr. Phil didn't just send off. God, what the fuck is her name? Bad Babby, the Catch Me Outside girl.
Bad Barbie.
I can't fucking pronounce that.
Danielle Bergoli.
Miss Bergoli. Okay. But yeah, like he was sending kids to SUs in the aughts, that SUWS wilderness
Yes.
shit,
Yep.
and they're just as bad as all the others. And on that note, I know that there's a SUs in the Carolinas, and there's this one program in Carolina that recently got busted for killing a kid. They fucking
Yeah.
zipped him up all the way and suffocated him in the waterproof layer of a sleeping bag.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was founded that he died. It was murder.
Yeah, and then there's other details that came out. I'll put it in the chat. Just make sure it's not too bad.
No, you're good. Go for it. Speak.
Okay, this is factual information, but it's still disgusting.
Fair enough.
He was, I think it was the same kid. Like he was found foaming at the mouth and no pants on, and that's where I'm like, what the fuck? That's suspicious. But
We've had
who knows?
We had a couple of deaths recently because we had him, and then you have that that African American kid who was body slammed in the cafeteria at his program, and he died while they were restraining him.
Yeah, he threw a bread crust, and he wasn't even a bad kid. He was in foster because his grandmom died, or his mom died.
Poor that
Yep.
fucking
And that leads
kid.
to a whole different portion of the industry and how states are getting money off of sending people to them because they're getting paid for it. Well,
I have notes on that. Hang on a
by the
second.
state to take the kids that are in those. Yeah, that's a whole other fucking side of it.
It just gets more disgusting the more we dig.
Hang on a second. I got some notes about that I got to dig up.
Fucking Nilly coming with the ammo, bro. I love it.
Dude, I fucking prepared for this. Like, okay,
he did too. We've been talking for the past like 3 days, and he's like, "Yo, I got notes." But then I got notes about my notes.
Yeah, then he messaged me. He was like, "Is it cool?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm just gonna give you the floor, bro. Like, here,
yeah,
we're gonna talk bullshit with you, but you." He's like, "Should I give you guys any warning about?" I'm like, "No, plausible deniability. Plus, I would just want to be surprised."
Have I surprised you yet?
A little bit.
How so? Tell me.
Just the amount of stuff you're bringing up and linking it together. Most people aren't able to link them all together in the order in which you're linking them or in the specific details in which you're linking them.
I'd say the whole thing, like the in-depthness that you've done with this, because not many people who would have seen something like this would have researched it. They'd be like, oh shit, like something like this is happening, that sucks. And that would basically be the end of it. You went a different route and actually started looking things up and doing some research and becoming educated on the topic in and of itself that for the better part of, 20, 30 years,
20
no one
years.
gave a fuck about?
Yeah, 30 years.
So, I'm giving you credit for that. The level of depth that you've gone to actually find out this information, to pursue the advocacy for it.
That means a lot. Thank you. And
just
now I'm going to...
The amount of fucking shit you have saved that you could just be like, hold on, filing cabinet.
Which is interesting because on our side of things, like a lot of the information we've come to, we've come by naturally. Some of it we've dug into because it's something that we've been a part of. But hearing the other side of it, and again, you're not necessarily a full-blown program kid, but you went through something similar, so the correlation is there, but it's just different how there's the two sides of this. You've got people that were in it for a year or less type of situation that have just, and then of course the documentary came out literally about our fucking program, so there was that. So you have our side of things where we lived it, have done our research, have talked about it, have tried to help people doing this type of situation. You have someone that went through something similar, forgot about it, stumbled across it 9 years later, and pursued it.
And hasn't
So
stopped.
it's very, very different, but the contrast is nice, and it's interesting to hear this side from someone else that can do this and has done the level of research that you've fucking done.
And what's also interesting too is technically you're on the outside looking in because you weren't exactly in the programs in which most people are now familiar with, but because of the research you've done, you've shown everybody that it's just an umbrella, motherfuckers. Here's the whole picture. Like, you literally have so many pieces to the puzzle, and there's a lot of people that wouldn't even try to find where those pieces fit, and you're fitting them, and it's
I mean,
it's
people
phenomenal.
that have just stumbled across it in general, they don't give that much of a fuck about it. To put
Oh,
it simply.
facts. Oh, 100%.
They're like,
It's not that.
there's bad kids that went to a bad school. Oh, they were bad kids. You know, what did they do to belong there? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that fucking argument.
Goddamn
it
million
still
times.
disgusts me every single time I hear it.
Hey,
But
can you guys give me just 1 minute? I gotta run real quick. Be right back.
yeah,
You're going for a mile?
for it.
What are you doing?
I don't know. He may have to go pee. He said
Yeah,
he was drinking.
He said he was very hydrated today.
He needed to hydrate that throat, man. He's just been going and going. There's a lot of information coming out of that brain right now.
He's
but
just
no, like,
rocking.
seriously, from the standpoint of you have people that stumble across it, people that have seen the documentary, people that have seen the stuff about Synanon, people that have seen these things and that are
For
suddenly
years.
somewhat interested in it now, but you have the other side of it, or these people that are like, oh, well, they were bad kids in a
Which is
bad
the
school.
which is the majority. Which is the majority.
You know, the one thing that none of us are hearing about is what did they do to get sent to that school? And it's like you're completely missing the point. And that's where most people are sitting with this.
Yep.
Is they want to know why we were sent to these places, not what happened in them. They're like, all right, well, yeah, sure, you got restrained, you were slammed, you were malnourished, you fucking had shitty hygiene. But what did you do to get sent there? Were you doing drugs? Were you running around and fucking being a giant ass delinquent at night? Like, that's all they care about. And the fact that Nilly went a different route with this.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show something that Nilly just posted.
I got more coming, by the way.
He's just posted this in our chat. So I'm gonna pull this up for the recording here, if I can line it up right. I'm just gonna slide it in front of your face here for a minute, Jack. So this here, this is one of the facilities where that child was killed, and it is full of absolute insane graffiti, rape school, youth were sexually assaulted here, burned this place down, youth were abused here systematically, sexually and mentally is written underneath it, and then it looks like it says physically and underneath that. Help us, please. This is a bad place. Something from the staff. I can't read what that writing is there. Toward
the staff helped themselves to the imprisoned young girls every day.
Yeah, but I'm trying to read. Is that what? Like, you see where it says "from" next to that Ash Taz? Jack, next to the door to the right of it. Something from the staff and from rape.
Oh, it says we keep ourselves and each other safe.
Except from the staff.
Except from
rape.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just like any other fucking program, isn't it? Except this was foster care.
Yeah, this was.
This was where that African American youth was.
Yep, in 2020.
Yeah.
So
for those of you that are listening to this after the fact, obviously, Nick was going over a couple of the things that were written and some of the pictures in this image. But for those of you that are here in the live stream or will see this in the recording, the image is currently up on the screen underneath my photo. So you guys can see the image that Nilly is talking about. This is graffiti that happened inside of the program that the one of the kids that Nilly had mentioned was killed in.
I'm actually going to display capture this real quick, or window capture this for those of you that are watching on Spotify and YouTube.
Also, just as an aside, it was called Riverside Academy.
So we're gonna put
I think it was in Kansas.
So I'm going to make this a little bit larger so it can be shown on the screen better. I'm just going to cover the whole screen here with it. So fear, we keep ourselves, we keep everybody protected except for the staff and the rape. Fuck this place and the staff who hurt them. The staff help themselves to the imprisoned young girls every day. That's written all the way on the left there. You can see the outside of the building. That's the building in which this all occurred in. So yeah, and this was a foster care facility.
Sorry to be such a downer, but I mean, this is pervasive.
This is what this part of a podcast is about, brother. This is it's to show this shit and to bring light to it. All
right, so time for some numbers and looking at y'all's two's reaction faces. So nobody knows how many kids are in programs like this. but we have an estimate. The American Bar Association says between 120 and 200,000.
Yeah,
At
sounds
once.
about right.
So up to a fifth of a million. What the fuck? That's a lot of kids in programs. So
It's a
go ahead.
lot, but when you think about the population size of our country, it's a minuscule number, but it is like it's still a fucking like you think about how niche these schools are, and it's like fuck, there's that many.
Actually, one second.
Kind of fucked.
Oh, bet.
There are currently, or wait, hang on, this is not the right year. There's like a couple tens of millions of kids right now. Hang on, let me read this real quick.
Because you got to think, what Ivy Ridge held a maximum 400 students.
Yeah, 73 million kids right now in the U.S.
I think
Around there, yeah.
I think it's 73 million kids have been affected to today, not that are in programs.
Well, wait, no, I was saying that the total population at this moment for kids in the USA is estimated at 73 million.
Yeah, so when you look at the population size compared,
The fifth,
you got
the correlation is dumb, but you look at just the numbers in and of itself are fucking drastic.
But what makes that crazy,
terrible.
what makes that number crazy though, is Ivy Ridge held a maximum of 450 kids. We'll say 450 to play it safe. Like, so 225 girl boy. There's not many places that would be bigger than that. Some would be at maybe the 600 capacity, 800 maximum maybe 1,000. We'll say 1,000 is the absolute maximum.
Wasn't Cross Creek really big?
Property wise, I think it was. I don't think it was as far as how many kids were there. I think it was at around 600.
Like, they were putting kids in one of the nearby hotels they bought out, I thought.
I don't know if that was because of over acceptance or if that was because of them like doing like remodel and shit. Like, there was rumor that it was because of remodel. There was rumor because they took an influx from another school that shut down there, and then there was rumor that they were just letting kids in and had nowhere to put them, so they just kept putting them in hotels. Which, if that was the case, I think that school had a maximum capacity of 600 or 700 students, and then however many would be at the hotel. So let's say like another 200, 300. So
Jeez.
Call it 1,000 for argument's sake. But even then, 200,000 on the max side, right, of kids in programs. If each program is 1,000, it's 200,000. That's what, 20,000 fucking schools.
That's I have a more depressing number if you'd like to hear.
Which is more, ready? That's more schools. That'd be more programs than there are McDonald's in the United States.
God, that's fucked up.
There's 4,500 McDonald's in the United States. I only know that because I watched a recent thing on YouTube about it.
I was about to ask how many of those have you gotten the double quarter pounder with cheese from, bud?
About half.
So, so guess how much money this fucking industry makes in a year?
I'd rather not fucking know.
Probably
too
like
bad.
650 million a year.
50 billion.
Yeah, it's not even remotely fucking surprising.
And then
I'm not surprised, but I'm mad at myself for not guessing that high.
So the other thing that's fucked up is between federal, state, and local funding programs, $23 billion of that comes from Uncle Sam.
Also, not
really shocked.
And if we're going to get really, really down to nitty gritty, Sequel, which owned Riverside Academy that killed that poor black orphan kid, they get $200 million a year among all of its facilities. 90% of it comes from Medicaid and Medicare and a bunch of other programs.
Yep.
And they collect up to $800 per day per kid from government programs.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is one of the ways that they found around once a lot of the negative shit started to come out from about a lot of the WASP programs and other things in the troubled teen industry. The absolute fucking shitstick geniuses that created this industry found a way to get around it, and they found a way to have their programs supported by government, and not just just general government in general. They started finding ways to have the kids being enrolled in there as a type of medical treatment to where they could charge Medicare and Medicaid. And they started getting funding from the state government when it comes to foster children and other kids that are in the system for them to take them. So these schools, quote, air quotes, for those that aren't seeing this, these schools found a loophole to still profit, still torture kids, and remain in business, even though all of the negative press that has come out previously and is continuing to come out, and it's all still fucking going. And they're still finding ways to manipulate the system in their benefit.
Oh, and if we want to rattle off some more depressing information, the girl who died of peritonitis at Diamond Ranch Academy, Taylor Goodrich, her tribe was paying $8,000 a month for that. Just yeah.
That is not a good way to die either. That hurts.
No,
that's a painful death.
That was an extended death that absolutely should have been prevented and was easily preventable.
It's easily preventable, but if not, that shit is. Oh God, I've read up on that. That just sounds fucking painful as fuck when you look at it.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I don't know if you're able to put this on the podcast or on Twitch, but I do have pictures of I have some of the infamous high impact pictures with the fucking cages. Yeah. So I'm keeping that. Oh, you that is fine.
No, that's if you want to do it, it's perfectly fine. I mean, the video recording in and of itself is going on YouTube, and our YouTube is
Spotify
specifically designated for people to understand what this is about. Obviously, on the Apple side of things, it's just audio, so there's no video for there. But I'm still recording this, so I have it anyway. So
okay,
if you want to.
This is going to be a little hard to see, but it's also going to be a little hard to look at for those of you looking on YouTube here. So this is a child laying inside of a cage on dirt. There's another one laying down outside. As you can see, they look pretty lifeless because it's probably, I don't know, 100 plus degrees outside, and they're just baking in the fucking sun. And they're in what would be called a surrender position, to where your arms are out completely out to your sides, your feet have to be straight. Some programs like Ivy Ridge would have you laying on your chin, some on your back, face up, palms up. And then you could see here in these other positions, the stress positions and from rope burns and whatnot. You can see here from where her ankles were tied, there's rope burns on this young lady's ankles. Here's the OP position, which a lot of people are familiar with when it comes to Academy of Ivy Ridge and some of the other programs. This has been demonstrated on Facebook by numerous people as well. It is a very painful fucking position to be in. Here is what looks like an OP room or intervention room at Cross Creek. This is basically an isolation room to where you would be sitting for hours on end, for days on end, if not weeks. I've spent 2 weeks in one of those, completely cut off.
There's one kid in Spring Creek Lodge, I just remembered, was in OP in The Hobbit for like 2 years.
Oh, that's right. This is the kid that got hit with the mace. So it's not pepper spray. He got hit with mace. That's why he's got the chemical burn. So at Tranquility Bay, they were famous for a couple of things down there. One of the things they were famous for is if you got really rowdy and out of hand and they felt like you were attacking them, they didn't just use pepper spray. They used mace on you. And you can see here on his abdomen, gave this kid a nice little chemical burn. And that is a scar on this young man's chin from where it got split open when he got slammed on the ground. So, yeah. Are we waking up yet, people? No?
Yeah,
okay.
And the best part is Randall Hinton admitted on fucking video that he would pepper spray kids.
Yes, he did.
And I heard worse from people that he didn't admit to with the toilet brushes and the plastic bags, but let's not go there.
You just did, and I don't think you have to go any further, because you just say that.
Yeah.
People's brains are going to go to, like, the worst part of that, and that's exactly where it should go.
No, even worse. Like, I heard he would, like, put the bags on their head after fucking pepper spraying and shit.
Yeah.
Like, that is Abu Ghraib shit. I hate to mention that.
It's more like Guantanamo Bay type shit, but...
Okay, that's fair. Shit. My mistake.
But...
The reason I'm thinking of Abu Ghraib is there was a Senate report, the GAO. Have you heard of them? The Government Accountability Office?
Yep.
Yeah, they did a report to Congress in 2008 based off a 2007 investigation. Mm-hmm. And this was right after Abu Ghraib had hit the news, and they were making direct comparisons to it, and everybody in Congress is like, oh my God, and they didn't do anything about it.
No, they're not going to.
And that's part of why I'm sticking to this and keeping on my notes, because people keep forgetting, people keep putting it off, people keep coping instead of stopping it. That's why I've been doing this for so long, because it pisses me off when I'm done feeling like, about an inch tall and helpless. I get pissed off again. Anyway.
Know that feeling, brother. Know that feeling, brother.
Yeah, and the other thing, and this is something I can't really show pictures of unless it's like a screenshot, but I need to go through and anonymize everything for that. 90s seminars were apparently like North Korean brainwashing bad. I think one of the worst things I ever heard of was there was one seminar in Tranquility Bay where there was a girl present who was pregnant when she entered the program and was forced to have an abortion.
Yes, I've heard that story.
And the fucking facilitator basically got the whole boy side to do what I will not speak, but you can imagine, as part of the seminar experience. I've been looking for that guy's last name. Nobody remembers.
Yeah, the abortion thing I've heard from more than just one facility. I've heard that about at least 4.
They're not equipped to deal with infants or postpartum, mothers, so
nope.
They just force abortions while they're. I'll stop there.
They get the boys to start throwing their feet really hard at a torso.
Well, anyway, but yeah, where the fuck were we? Because we've kind of gotten all over the place, but I don't even know where.
Welcome to the PorchFitcks What the Fuck podcast.
Welcome to the what the fuck is happening on this podcast?
We're talking about some shit.
But this is, again, it's kind of the whole point of this. I mean, we haven't had the outside perspective of someone who is doing this for their own personal reasoning. I mean, we've had staff, we've had other students, and we know why they're talking about it. We know why we're talking about it. But having you come on and from this perspective is something that we need, and something that other people, I feel, should hear. So giving you the floor and letting you just go off on your fucking tangent is exactly what we needed.
You know what? I know where to go from there. So trying to reconstruct the seminar was something I made a bit of a passion project out of, because nobody remembers everything, and I don't blame y'all.
No, we don't. It's fucking weird.
Just reading about what a parent wrote from a parent seminar was enough to. I don't know how to describe it except through an analogy. Like, imagine the feeling of being stabbed and all the blood flowing out of your body, except that's like your ability to feel innocent or trust the world. Like, just that sinking feeling of being drained as you see something that's too horrible to just turn away from.
I mean, quite simply, for any former program kid that has seen their parents' seminar binder and reading the things that their parents wrote in there, it's like a completely different person. It's ridiculous.
I've never had that experience.
Yeah, so I think her name was Karen Bean. She had a website of some piano trading website, and she put up on her personal website, not reachable from the front end, the store end, what she went through with some WASP seminars, and it was linked to from an old website called No Spank. And they were talking about, child abuse in general, because No Spank was the whole point of the website, not to beat your kids.
Yeah.
But also just some people had gone through seminars. It was not just WASPs, it was also LifeSpring, Erhard Seminar Training, EST, that whole nonsense, insane, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And they talked about how the facilitators would just mind fuck them in mind games. Or I think one of the worst things was the biggest guy there would be used to intimidate people who questioned it. He'd just get right in their face, man or woman, and he'd say, I could beat you up and I could rape you in front of everyone. And sometimes he'd even have the fucking spotlight coming down on him and darken everything else out. I don't know how many places did that, but I heard that David Gilchrist loved that shit. Anybody remember that?
I don't think that's a
David fucking Gilchrist.
I would say I remember Gilchrist. I know that motherfucker, but
hold on,
I'm not surprised.
What? No, the spotlight thing, whole thing didn't happen in our seminar.
It couldn't.
Oh yeah,
we had a seminar room
with a drop ceiling with fluorescent light bulbs,
and there was fluorescent lighting in there. So now, while they would turn it off and they could have one set of the lights on for it, there was no spotlight per se.
No, there's no stage.
So
or
that's
anything
not
like
something. That's not something that could have happened in ours. But the whole, focusing thing with the lighting situation and doing that based on whatever mental exercise they were trying to bring you through, like the lifeboat situation and shit like that, like they did turn them off for certain things, but there was no direct spotlight.
Yeah, because, oh, geez, I'm remembering a lot now. Like, I remember the first time I was told that, like, I don't know if they always did this, but they used to paper up over every window.
Yep.
And you couldn't know time of day. I mean, I think everybody's gone over that.
If it wasn't paper, they had the blinds that drew down where it was like that solid blind, and they would duct tape the edges.
Damn. This is some CIA black site shit, man.
Kind of.
Well, I got notes saying that it kind of is, and they're also kind of, and they're kind of cribbing from some of the communist brainwashing shit from Vietnam.
No, that 100%. That's 100% yes.
I know somebody who's a veteran personally. I won't give any more details. When I got him to read this shit, he looked like he was about to crawl out of his skin. He was Special Forces, airplane, jumpy, secret squirrely type person.
That honestly, just sorry to interrupt you, but you just saying that, and then me just looking at Nick, and both of us just going, it's not funny, but at the same time, you got to realize how fucked up this is from our standpoint. When other people are sitting there and they're saying that they read about these things and it made them crawl out of their skin, and it's so fucked up, and we're like, and it's...
Oh yeah, you lived it.
It's just... I don't know. It always kind of got me a little bit that people would react to that way to these things, and we're like, "Oh, that was Tuesday."
Yeah, right. They made you do what?
Really?
You sat on your chin for hours? Yeah, bro. Like Wednesday to Saturday night. I don't like
that was my usual fucking Tuesday night. Like, what do you mean? Did you beat the shit? I was like, yeah, that was the other fucking Thursday. And they're like, oh my god, and
bro, could you imagine being in isolation for like 6 hours? Try a fucking week and a half. I don't.
It's astounding. And again, like, see, again, from like Nilly's like, yeah, he fucking read this and it fucked him up, and we're like, yes.
So I actually almost got in trouble with that whole like numbing effect recently, because I was telling some coworkers to watch the program, and I didn't think it was that bad because I'm so fucking used to this. I thought, oh, this ain't gonna be a big deal.
I did the same thing to my coworkers.
So
I told my boys straight up, I was like, it's pretty fucking bad. I didn't lie to them at all.
So my innocent coworkers, they're just other programmers. We're just making fucking computers do useful
no,
shit.
You did this to computer programmers?
And they're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, wait, it's bad? I thought it was pretty watered down. And like,
it is.
It is.
It's still fucked up.
I'll put it this way. I have a very close friend, an educated close friend, 2 graduate degrees.
He's not talking about us.
So she and her husband watched this, and I've already dumped all of this to a lot of to anybody I consider a close friend knows I've been doing this shit, right? And she counted her husband's what the fucks per minute. She lost count.
I was hoping to hear the number.
Yeah. Did she lose count?
Fucking minutes.
Did she lose count at like 40, 50, like something?
She lost count 42 minutes into the first episode, guaranteed.
Oh,
42? No, 25.
If you
remember
sat
what happened
there and you
time
watched
stamps.
this, if you watched this with someone and you lived it and you watched it with like your significant other, and you're just sitting there and like, I know for me and Nick, we've talked about this. My first time watching it, I was squeezing myself. I bruised my own fucking arm from just watching it, but just glancing over and looking at other people's reactions when like they're seeing shit that you lived, and just watching like the horror on their face is something that I will never fucking forget for as long as I live at this point, because again, as you pointed out, we lived it.
See,
and other people that didn't, and they see it and they're like,
see, Mary,
and you're like,
yeah.
See, my wife's gonna get mad at me for this, but you see, your wife had a reaction to it and everything, right? Mine was falling asleep on fucking couch, so I didn't really like. So we were waiting for the kids to go to bed before we started watching it.
I really hope she comes in there and smacks you in the back of the head right now.
So we waited for the kids to fall asleep because she really wanted to watch it. We're like 30 minutes in the first episode, and I just see. I'm like, you're not even fucking watching it. She goes, yes, I am. And she's like fucking putting her eyes up, and then like randomly she'd be like, wow, that's fucked up, and I'm like,
They're playing the piano. What do you mean?
Oh my god, dude.
But like, she was like so somber about it because she was just so tired. Like, she didn't have like, her brain wasn't really like firing. So like, I just looked at her and I'm looking at this and I'm getting pissed off and she's just. And I'm like, that bitch.
You just reminded me, man, because the little junior program I went to had all the same manhandling, beating, sittings on and shit. And when I was watching the part with the boys' side DVDs and all that shit, I was like, "Yep, I've seen that." And it's like now I'm thinking that is fucked up, and most people don't know what that's like, and I'm used to that, and I shouldn't be. And that's yeah, you're right. It's one of those fucked up things to kind of get squared away and go, "This ain't normal. You're supposed to be upset about this."
Yeah, like.
And
all right, so we're at about 90 minutes for this first
already?
one. So I'm gonna stop the recording here just for the Apple episode and stuff like that, and kind of split this up for it. And obviously, we're gonna let you continue to talk with this. Like, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I need to keep the recording down so I don't die in my office. So for the Apple side of things and anything else with it, so we're say obviously as a vastly different kind of take for this episode so far, with hearing the story of someone who just became an advocate from stumbling upon this and having a really terrible memory flush back at some point in time later on in his life as he realized, well, fuck, I kind of lived something like this. So very different, but honestly, something that's needed so people understand that it's not just us that we're sitting here talking about this. There are others that are interested in this and are pursuing ways to change this industry, stop this industry, or just make it something that's at least fucking regulated. But for this, I just want to say thank you very much, Nilly.
welcome.
This will be something that we're going to be putting on. I'll be putting this. This will probably go live Monday on the Apple side of things. But thank you so much for hanging and doing this conversation with us. We're going to stop this one and let another one go after this. But if you have any final comments for this portion of the episode, feel free and take it from here.
Well, final comments. I just want to make sure people know this has affected millions of people over the years. This goes back to the 50s, arguably. In terms of it being something done to kids, it goes back to the 70s with the Seed Straight Incorporated in the 80s when it started getting big commercial. The Provo Canyon made this start making big money in the 70s in Utah. Straight Incorporating Wasps, already mentioned Straight. But it's not just that. Regular public schools have, restraints and timeout rooms. Regular public schools aren't even the end of it either because, like we went on probably 20 minutes ago, kids in foster care, kids who need to get adoptions, kids who didn't do anything wrong are ending up in places like this. It's everywhere, it's endemic, and it's a billion-dollar industry. This isn't something that's just hidden away or in the past. It's ongoing.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, that'll end the podcast recording for Apple. Love you guys. We're gonna keep this going for Spotify.
Can I take a quick break real quick?
Yeah, go right
absolutely.
ahead, brother. While we wwrap this up. This is going to keep going on Spotify. This is going to be part 1 for the Spotify, ending here. We're going to keep this going, though, and we will upload it as a 2-part because Nilly's going to keep going here. Nilly's got a lot of ammo. He's got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're fucking here for it. It's been a great little back and forth here and there, but most of all, it's also been really great to just have his information getting out. So for those of you watching on YouTube and watching or listening here on Spotify, go to part 2 as soon as you're done here. And this conversation's gonna keep going, probably for about another hour.
Let me know once you've stopped.
But thank you guys so much for listening on Apple. For those of you on Spotify and YouTube, we'll see you on part 2 of the interview with good old Nilly here on the PorchFitcks podcast. You guys have a good one, and love you. Bye-bye.
Why?